Well, hello, beautiful, and welcome to the Women of Color in Business podcast. I am your host, Lynette Cottrell, and here we're all about empowering Black women to build sustainable businesses, embrace radical self-love, and release money trauma. So let's jump right into another great episode. Okay, hello everyone. So we are again graced with a beautiful Black woman in business, and we're going to begin by allowing her to introduce herself and her business.
Thank you so much, Lynette. It's so good for me to be here. Hello, everybody. My name is Coach Shauntel, and I am not your traditional coach. They call me the work and play hard coach because I love to partner with individuals and their businesses so that I deliver and enable you to have that high peak performance and then to be able to have that balance where you're able to live a purposeful life. Yes, not just a life, but a life driven with purpose. It is a difference. And I have over 2.5 decades experience working in the corporate world. And I partner that with my almost 20 certifications as a coach, a life coach, a business coach. And I have my company. It's called Wishing You Well in Life. And that is my term of endearment to my clients, to the economy, because I really do wish everyone well. I am an author. I have a book that's on Amazon. It's called Influence Yourself in Leadership and Life. And that's what I want for people to do is to stop following other people. I want for you to be that leader where you're able to be that model that is practiced, not just locally, but on a global platform. I want for everybody to have that legacy that they want to leave. I think that's the ultimate form of success. And within those chambers, I am also too a global leadership speaker. So I
Okay.
love to talk on stages, on different platforms, podcasts, TV shows, and I really like to share some of my frameworks, some of my ideals, and to just really help individuals so that they're not stuck in a rut or they're not always hitting that reset button. If you're always hitting the reset button, how can you ever get that momentum or that traction? So I don't want for anybody to have red lights, green lights all ahead.
Got it. Got it. Marvelous. Marvelous. Thank you for sharing that with us. So wishing you well in life. What a
Yeah,
line. Right.
yeah.
That packs a lot of power. So how long have you had wishing you well in life? How long has your business been going?
My business has been going for actually a little bit over a year, but before the business was going, I was still in business. I was still speaking and coaching. And I said, you know what? I might as well really do this for myself. So when I jumped off the cliff, I started sewing that parachute on my way down. I'm a daredevil like that. I just started sewing that parachute down and just started preparing myself so that when I did hit the ground, I would land on my feet.
Got it, got it. So with your decades of experience in corporate, you decided that, while I'm doing all this for someone else, let me do this for myself. So all that knowledge, all that experience, all those skills that you honed during those decades, you are now using it for a passion that you personally have to see people do well and live in greatness. I love that you talked about resetting, like a constant resetting versus momentum,
Yes.
because that's really is a big deal when we talk about Black women entrepreneurs and growing their businesses. We know that we are currently the fastest growing new businesses getting started. Yay. Our challenge, though, and I'm sure you're aware of this, is staying in business for that 5 year and beyond period. Like the statistics show that only about 3% of our businesses last to that 5 year mark and beyond. So that's saying 97% of our businesses are not lasting, which is one of the reasons why I tell every entrepreneur you need to have a therapist and you need to have a business coach.
Mm-hmm.
You need to have a therapist to help you deal with your past. You need to have a business coach to hold you accountable for handling your business the way it needs to be handled. So I think professionals like yourself, Chantel, that come into this space with all that experience and that knowledge just to help entrepreneurs keep that momentum, it's just valuable beyond words. So I just want to say I appreciate you for what you do because you're one of the leaders that's going to help us change that 3% and make it a whole lot higher. So when you
Absolutely.
go right
And I
ahead.
think that it's important to note on that part too is that really to be very clear, it is not the business that could not last that 5 years. It's us as the individual that could not last the 5 years. A lot of us
Exactly.
have good business plans, good ideas. We actually are able to solve a lot of problems, but it is the shell of our bodies. It is the body that is weak. These bodies get hungry, they get tired, they get exhausted. You start hearing no 1,000, 2,000 times, and you really start to psych yourself out. So it's not the business that doesn't last, it's us as a human being that doesn't last. And once you have that winning mindset, it will propel you past that 5 years into the 10 year, the 20 year. So now you are an industry leader, and now individuals are calling you, asking for notes and asking how did you be able to change the game or the landscape. So you do have a good business model. I need you to have a good business mindset. And a lot of people, they just don't have that.
Right. That's a very key point. So when we usually, most of our businesses that are starting, they're usually solopreneurs. So the person is the business, right? It depends on you 100%. So to your point, what is the mindset of that person, right? And how can that mindset be made stronger so that the business lasts? So when you consult with entrepreneurs, what are some of the most frequent issues you see they have that they need assistance with?
A lot of times focusing on the wrong things. One of my clients, one of my first clients, they spent like over 8 months working on their website. And it's like, no,
Mm,
we need to get people to the website. Your website was done 2 months ago. So we need to be able to put you in a different chamber now. We need to get you out of that digital form, and we need to get you towards where now you are actually talking to your ideal client. Your website
mm,
is something that stands alone. No one's going to type in your website address. They need to know about you first. You need to start coming out of your skin and building up that brand on your own. You need to start getting visibility, getting on different platforms. And I see people, they might work into the middle of the night, but you're not working on anything that's actually sustainable or anything that's pressing for right now. I see
mm,
people that are working on flyers and they're working on brochures and they have all this paper. And it's like every day is Earth Day. Let's just save all that paper. That paper is just sitting on your desk. It's not moving into anybody's hands. So I see a lot of people that's working on things behind the scenes, but you have got to fly the plane as you're building it. That's it. You got to
mm,
drive the car as you're building the car. Nothing is
mm.
ever going to be perfect, but you have to get out there and
Got it.
start expressing what you do. And that's the key. A lot of people are worried about the wrong things. And it's like, no, we need to focus your energy on getting you the results through the people. Have you went out there and done some test marketing? Have you went out there and identified what platform your ideal client lives on? If your ideal client lives on TikTok, then you're going to have to start using TikTok. If your ideal client is on LinkedIn, but you don't have a LinkedIn profile, what are we doing? Like,
Right.
we have to get out there so that now your ideal client is now just magnetically attracted to you, and then they will go to your website, then they will
Mm,
request your brochures. But if you're just creating something and you're not revving anybody to you, then you're working backwards.
very, very important stuff, which is why people need a business coach because the entrepreneur starts with a passionate idea or a very strong creativity, and they decide, I want to do this and I want to turn this into a business. But that person doesn't have the skills for every area that it takes to make a business grow. Right? They don't have the skill to, okay, how do I refine my target market? What is a target market, right? How do I make sales? What is the most important thing for me to do first? And that's where a business coach with your experience comes in because you know what the whole picture looks like, right? I'm
Hmm.
a new entrepreneur. I know my core genius, and that's about it. Everything else, I'm researching the internet to try to figure out, okay, what else goes in with this puzzle to make my business whole. I could come to you and you can help me with that. Okay, I know you love designing things and you love, dealing with the colors, but that's not going to give you clients and make money, based
Right.
on your income goals. This is where your energy needs to be focused. And you would keep me accountable for when you come back, we meet the next time. Okay, what did you complete? And I
Right.
think that's very important because to the point when we talk about that 3% and that 97%, a big part of that 97% is people being busy doing stuff. Like you said, they're working the hours. They're not lazy. They're
Right.
working, but just not on the right thing.
Right. And then they're investing thousands of dollars on things that they could have invested on a little bit later on down the road. Or they're investing into these programs and then they get into the program and then they have all of these videos they have to watch. They have all these books that they have to read. Or they go to these retreats and conferences and then come back and their mind is on overload because it was a fire hydrant of information and they still don't know how to get started.
Yeah.
So with the right type of coach will help you save a lot of time and money. By now you're able to hack into my knowledge. By you
Yeah.
hacking into my knowledge, now you can avoid those pitfalls and those mistakes. And now failure is almost not even an option. Only success is an option. But when you're doing it by yourself, failure could be an option because you're going through so many trials that you get burnt out, that now you're getting a little bit too sketchy about anything else that might come your way. Like, well, I tried this before, but it's like you didn't try it with me. Say, I'm not your
Right.
typical coach. I'm not here to just give you a whole bunch of affirmations and a lot of different videos. I want to be able to not just do a SWOT analysis on your business, but to do a SWOT analysis on you,
Oh, wow.
so we
That's
can tap into
big.
your strengths, your weaknesses,
Right.
opportunities for growth, and then threats. And a lot of times when I'm doing those SWOT analysis, the one big threat is what? It's us. We're our own threat. We're having like self-sabotaging moments and we don't even realize it. Sometimes the enemy is in plain sight and it's right there in the mirror. It is
Right.
us. So
Yes,
so
yes.
it's really great that we're able to extract those things out. That way they're being mindful and they're like, you know what, this is self-sabotaging behavior. Let me go ahead and pivot and do something else so I can reframe that negative and turn it into something positive and then go from there.
Wonderful. That's a lot of great information you dropped there. So you do a smart analysis on the person, not just the business.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And the thing about it, just to be completely honest, I was my first client. I was my first client. I'm like, I'm going to empower people. I'm going to do all these great things. And then I had to empower myself. So when
Mm,
I am working with somebody, I can show empathy because I too was just like that. I too
yes.
spent thousands of dollars on the wrong thing, wasted my time on this, wasted my energy on this. And now looking back, it's like, oh my gosh, like I've learned so much just within the last 2 years. If I could go back and do it again, I would have done it differently. That's why it's great to partner not just with anybody, but somebody who's also too been out the trenches with dirty nails. And I came up, cleaned off my nails and everything else. Like I'm here, I'm fearless, and I want for everybody else to face their fears. So they can be fearless as well too.
Wonderful, wonderful. So as you went through your own experience, building your business, doing your own smart analysis on yourself, what would you say was a resource that you found that helped you the most through that process?
One of the best resources was me partnering with a coach. Me part as a coach, you need a coach. And
Yes.
me partnering with, I actually had two different coaches. I had like a hybrid approach. One was giving me tough love and the other one was giving me soft love. But between that balance, I was able like to redefine what I actually do, like what are my strengths, because I have so many different skills, so many
Mm,
different niches, but I was able to kind of hammer it down a little bit so I could identify my actual client, and then I can be able to work from there. And even though I am a business coach, it still evolves around life. And we have to really get serious about our life. You have so many people that are not really serious about their life. So if you're not serious about life, how can you really be serious about your business? Like, I
mm,
really ask people, what is the longest thing you've ever been committed to? And if you only been committed to something for maybe 3 or 4 years, then maybe that's going to be your same commitment level with your job, with your business.
mm,
Because the thing about it is going to get very rough. We have this idea like, I'm going to skyrocket off, I'm going to be a success. And then there's the reality part of it. The
yeah,
reality is you're thinking here and the reality is right here. So it's like,
right.
I really want to keep you grounded with the reality and really just challenge you so that you will be able to overcome those bad days. But a bad day is only 24 hours. We're not going to turn one bad day now into a bad month and then a bad year. And that's what happens with some people. And it
Mm,
shows. And so you're not really able to attract anything positive if you are always negative.
right, right. Good point. You said a couple of good things there. One was being being creative in different areas, but knowing that you need to make one area your focus, right? Because a lot of
Right.
us are multi-talented. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes we start a business and we're saying, I'm going to offer 10 different services, or I'm going to do 10 different things because I can do them all. And then we end up just doing a little bit of everything and never really get good at one thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we're wondering why the business is not growing or taking off. Another thing you said was having a hybrid of coaches, like being able to have that balance, having the one to push you, and then having the one that gave you a soft place to fall, right? Like
Yes.
sometimes we just need to we just need to wrap up in something warm for a minute, but then we get back up and go back to work. So I
Mm-hmm.
love that you allowed yourself to have that balance, right?
Right.
Wonderful, wonderful. So when you were in the process of getting your business going, knowing all the knowledge and the skills that you had, what was it that really made you take that step out? Because there's a lot of us that haven't started the business yet, but we have that idea, like we know we should, we have the desire to, but there's something keeping us from taking that first step. So what would you say it was that made you take that first step and say, okay, now I'm going to do this?
I just told myself, I'm not scared. There's not nothing down here on this earth that I'm scared of. And if I'm really talking that talk, I have got to start to walk it. I have nieces that look up to me. I'm a role model out here. So I
Uh-huh.
can't just talk about it. I really had to go ahead and do it. And I felt like I was not only qualified, but who better than me to go ahead and take it on the stage? I had
Mm,
went through everything in my past for a reason. Nothing happened by mistake. And I felt like I had to be a good steward of my testimony. I had to go out there and do it. It was a calling that kept calling me. That phone just kept ringing. I said, "Oh man, I'm about to pick up this phone. Oh my, it's ringing again. Oh my God." So I said, let me go ahead and pick up this phone and do what I'm supposed to do. Because sometimes
right.
the soul, it yearns for something and you just cannot
Yes.
shake it. It's like
Yes.
you have like that gut instinct, like I'm not really supposed to be here right now. Like this is something that's just kind of off. But once I
Right.
clicked in and I dialed into it, it was the best thing I've done. You got to think about it. Every time we go into a new experience, even when we're first born, we're hollering, we're scared. And that's how it is with every other new experience. Like we're nervous, we're kind of hollering inside of ourselves a little bit. But that nervousness, it could also too be excitement. Nervous and excitement, it's kind of the same
Yes.
butterflies that's in the stomach. And we're so programmed to thinking, oh, I'm nervous, but you really could just be excited. It
Yes.
could be that thrill of the life. And I always
Right.
had that mindset like the best part of my life, it hasn't even happened yet.
Mm.
And by me having that mind frame, it's like, okay, let me go ahead and let me start to walk into my dream. Like, I'm not laying down in the bed anymore. I'm walking around, I'm creating my dream right now. And you have so many people who, like Langston Hughes says, they let their dreams get deferred. So,
Yes,
you
yes.
have some people who don't even dream anymore.
Right,
They're like, I
right.
haven't had a dream in years. And it's like, that's because dreams and gave up on you because they know
Mm.
you're not doing nothing with them.
They said, I have been ringing your phone and you are not answering, so I'm just going to stop calling.
Yeah, exactly. And it's going to start to cause somebody else. So you have different players out here. Some people are actually on the field playing the game, and then you have the spectators that are watching it. And I didn't want to watch it anymore. I wanted to be out there on the field. That's it.
Wonderful,
No
wonderful.
regrets.
Wonderful. So you considered yourself a role model. You wanted to be walking the walk while you
Yeah.
talking the talk. A
Yeah.
lot of us talk a good game, but we
Hmm.
don't get out there and do it. And you decided you were going to get out there and do it. And
Right.
you decided to do it in spite of fear. So acknowledge that the fear is there, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
And also talking about the point that sometimes that nervousness isn't always fear. Sometimes it's excitement, right? That energy feels the same in your body, and you can mislabel it as, stage fright when it can be, ooh, I'm your body's just excited because what I'm about to do is something great, right?
Hmm.
Wonderful. I love that. So in your business journey so far, what has been your greatest challenge?
My greatest challenge has just been working with some entrepreneurs who are just they just don't want to admit certain things. Like they're almost like scared of the success. And like I've
Ah,
told them, the biggest
oh,
challenge is waving goodbye to your old self. Your old
mm,
self is no longer going to serve you in this journey. Your old
mm,
self is giving you this doubt because your old self is not used to you doing these things. So
yeah,
it's protecting you because it wants to keep you confined with what it's used to doing. And
yeah.
it's like, no, no, no. We need to wave bye to our old self and enter into our new self. That's why when I tell somebody to push, I'm not in labor and delivery, but I'm giving birth to the new you. The new you
Mm,
has got to come out. And when you get that new you, it's going to be a new voice inside your head. Now, what you do once, the brain forgets. What you do twice, the brain remembers. What you do for 30 days, that's your identity. But what you do for 90 days to a year,
yes,
that's your new lifestyle. Get
yes,
ready for your new lifestyle. And
yes.
sometimes some of the entrepreneurs, I almost call them inventors. Like, you've invented this service, you've invented this product, but now you need to get that entrepreneurial mindset now. And that means now you have to be able to be that COO, be that CFO, be that CMO. You're wearing all these hats, and your old self, it can't serve you anymore.
Mm.
So they still have old mentalities. And it's like, we have got to get that out of you because it's just not going to work. The new you can't come on this journey. It's no room in the car.
Got it, got it. A lot of good points there. One is your body, your system, your mind, everything about you, what you're stepping into doing is unfamiliar to it. So it's
Right.
going to feel strange. It's going to feel, sometimes we label that feeling, oh, well, maybe I can't do this, or maybe this is not for me. That's not what that feeling is. It's just unfamiliar. You have to tell your body, your system, your mind, we're going to get used to this, right? We're going to keep going because no, we haven't done this before. Yes, this is totally new, but it's not a monster. It's just something new. We're going to get used to this. I love how you talked about now you have to be that CEO. Now you have to be that founder. Now you have to wear these hats that you've never worn before. And you need assistance in that process,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's why we need a business coach
Right.
because you're stepping into a lot of newness. And by yourself, it is extremely difficult to make it. I would say it's literally impossible to make it
Mm-hmm.
because it's all new. And you're fighting against yourself. You're
Right.
fighting against yourself, and you need someone to be able to point that out to you. You need someone who understands what the process is to be able to tell you, okay, this is what's happening to you right now,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I love that you were able to so eloquently lay that out for us, what that feels like, what it looks like, and what it really is.
Yeah, it's just like driving a car. You didn't learn how to drive a car by yourself. You had to have your parent or some friend or family. They had to teach you how to drive the car. But
Exactly.
before we even got behind the wheel, what did we do? We watched somebody drive the car. We had
Yes.
watched them drive the car for years, and we're like, oh, I can't wait to drive. I know how to drive. I know how to do this. But some people, they might knew how to go forward, but they didn't know how to parallel park. So it took
Right.
somebody to guide you. We had to put those cones out and get you
Exactly.
to help you parallel park that car. And it's the same thing with a business. If you've never had started your own business before and you've never watched somebody start their business before, how do you think that you're really going to be able to put that business together? And we only
Very.
have so many funds and so much time invested into this where it has to start to work. And when
Right.
you are starting your own business, you have people watching you. You got your community watching, you got friends and family watching, and sometimes they can lay their ideas on you. Like, I was going to start a business, but I couldn't because of X, Y, and Z. Or,
Right.
oh, she's starting her business. What does she think she's doing? Or how is she going to be able to do that? So you do want to be able to prove other individuals wrong. But sometimes you get it in your mindset like, well, what am I doing? Like, I feel like I am going crazy. Like, I've been doing this for 6 months and there's still really no progress.
Very good point. Very good point. What would you say is the best advice you ever received about business? One of the things you said there was when you're learning to drive a car, first you watch someone driving a car. So a lot of us, most of us as Black women entrepreneurs, when we're starting a business, there was no one around for us to watch start a business. So it wasn't a process that we saw it step by step and we understood what that person was doing. So we're kind of stepping into it without a model. So
Mm-hmm.
we do need training. And you also spoke on how the people around you can kind of give their opinions of what they think about what you're doing. And you can let that get into your mind. So thinking about all that, what would you say has been so far the best advice when it comes to business that you've received?
The best advice that I received is just to make it a routine that, practice doesn't make perfect, it makes permanent. So a lot of people, you have to permanently ingrain this in you where there is no plan B. There is no plan C. It's only one plan, and that is to succeed. And the best piece of advice is that I don't have to be perfect every time, but I do have to go out there and I have to be me every time. I have to show up in my authentic self. What does my authentic self look like? We
Mm,
don't just get thick skin overnight. It takes us to being immersed out here in the world and in the battlefield. And that's how we start to get that thick skin. We start to learn and be in community with other like minded individuals. And then we're able to have our success stories and then being able to learn the truth about some stuff because it's not glamorous. It's
mm,
really not. That's why a lot of people say, I'll just go back to work because I can do these 8 hours and then I can just go home and I can just relax. And
mm.
with being an entrepreneur, when you go home, the living room, that's our office. We didn't the living room and the kitchen dining room table. That's like our office. That's where we build at. And you have to think about it. It just doesn't take a one night thing. The phone isn't going to ring and it's success calling, but you have to know that success will call. You have to permanently be invested in this because discipline is not going to say, hey, how you doing today? Are you sick? Are you still a little bit tired? No, discipline demands that you show up every single day. And people, they don't really have the discipline. Some people have the discipline to show up to work on time, but they don't have that same level of discipline when it comes to building their own business. Like, this is not a joke. Don't sit there and watch your favorite TV show and now you're cooking this and you're going out to get some cheesecake. No, carve out some time where you are right there and you're fully committed and you are building on that business because it's going to take some time, but it will be able to work out. I've seen some people, it might have taken them 3 or 4 years, but then it finally was able to come out. And you have to think about it, even like with the elephant, it takes an elephant 22 months to have a baby, but it takes us 9 months to have a baby. But the elephant, they're giving birth to something big.
Right.
And when that elephant comes out, all of the kingdom shows up to see this big creation. So, it might take 22 months, it might take 9 months, but it's going to come out. You just have to be invested in it.
Mm, very good, very good. Um, hmm. The entrepreneur journey, one of the things you spoke about was that people thinking it's going to be easy. And I think that comes from looking at social media in a way that we see all the highlight reels, right? We're looking at people who are doing what we want to do. They're in the business we're going into, and we're seeing how they're shining and they're smiling and they're traveling. And we're thinking, okay, that's the way I want my business to be. What we don't see and what they don't show is the times when they were struggling, the mistakes they made, because they're showing their success story. They're
Mm-hmm.
trying to attract people with the success story. So we have to be mindful enough to separate the two, to understand, okay, this is their success reel. This is not the whole story of what entrepreneurship is about, right? This is
Right.
just the highlight reel. There's a whole nother part that I'm going to go through and experience so that I can have that highlight reel. I can get to those experiences that are the highlights. But
Mm-hmm.
there's another part that's so real that I'm going to have to deal with, right? And
Right.
a big part of that is that I think a lot of people don't talk about and are not ready to deal with. You spoke about earlier self-sabotage. We
Mm-hmm.
also have limiting beliefs,
Mm-hmm.
right? Things that are internally a part of us, our mind and our hearts, that's keeping us from success, that we have to deal with to move forward, to grow our business, to keep going in our business, right? So it's not just the business practice of getting your business plan together. And I love the way you say you do a smart analysis on the person, because that's the key right there. You can have the business plan in place, you can have follow step 1 through step 10, but
Mm-hmm.
what about the person, you who is showing up in the business?
Right. Right. Yeah, it's really very important because the mind, it commands the body. And if the body is weak, what are we going to do with that? We're going to have to
Mm,
strengthen it up. But what are we strengthening up exactly? So
right.
once you do that analysis on yourself, you're able to identify what are your threats? What are threatening you? Is it
Mm,
yourself? Is it that inner terrorist that's been terrorizing you, saying you're not
mm,
good enough, you're not smart enough, you're not wise enough? All of
yes.
these things are red lights that's stopping people. And I don't want you to be stopped. Some people, they lack commitment. That's a red light. Some people get frustrated. That's another red light. Some people are lazy. That's a red light. We have to remove the red lights. That way, you are always at green light status. You got to
Mm,
go. You have got to go out here. That old mindset, that old body, we have zero time for that right now. You are going to be a trailblazer. And what does a trailblazer do? They create a path for other people to follow. And a lot of people are just used to walking on roads that have already been developed, and we can't have that. No,
mm,
we have to be able to take that sidetrack and create that road. What does it mean to create a road? It means labor. You're laying out that concrete, you're paving a way, you're removing that rubbish, you're removing your old self so that you can get into it. Like a lot of people, they have great ideas, but when it comes to actually putting that idea into place, then that's where it's like, oh, this is too much work.
oh
Wait,
yes.
I didn't think it was going to be this easy. I saw them on TikTok and
There
she
you
didn't
go.
look like that. She didn't say all this was supposed to happen. They didn't
There,
say all of this.
yes, yes, exactly. So you help your clients identify those red lights and remove them.
Yeah,
Okay. So can you give us example of your process of identifying a red light and your solution or a technique you use to help a client get rid of that red light?
absolutely. One of my past clients, he had a fear of public speaking, and he really had a good solution to offer, but he needed to be able to speak. He
Yeah.
actually had a spokesperson, but it's like, wait a minute, people don't buy products, people buy from people. And I need for you to get out there and tell your story. People buy from people who they like. So within the first week, I found an improv class right there locally for him. And we got him registered for that improv class. And he got out there and he started doing the improv class, started getting a little bit comfortable. Then I had him face his fear. And he started off at his church where it was amongst love, amongst people who he had been in fellowship for over 20 something years. And they were going to give him that love so that he was able to speak to them. And then he did start to go and speak at different conferences, at different expos. And that was able to help him increase his sales. Not the spokesperson. People don't need a shiny person that's talking about the product. It's like,
Right.
okay, we can tell that this is a paid person. And people smell that a mile away. They want
Right.
you to get up there and you tell your story. Nobody can sell the product better than you. And that's
Right.
just it. So, with that being said, I helped him face his fear within 2 weeks. And then that way, on the third week, now he feared less because he got it out of the system and he was able to get up there and to start to talk, talked a little bit more. And now he's like a gladiator out here. He's
Oh,
definitely
wow.
killing it and he's making more connections. And he's still really an introvert at heart, but he's more comfortable with speaking now. And now, with
Got it.
that getting out the way, now he's able to have that success within his business. So, we want to be able to identify what that red light is for you and then to unveil it a little bit later. Like, well, why do you have this fear of this? Like, what is really stopping you? It's not going to kill you. It's not going to cut you. It's not going to shoot you. It's not going to bite you. So, let's talk about this a little bit. Even if I have to hold your hand, I'll definitely hold your hand for a little bit, but you got to be able to walk on your own.
Beautiful. I love that. I love that. What do you love most about what you do, Chantel?
Man, transforming people's lives. I think that that's like a great mission to be on. I'm here to serve people. I knew a long time ago, me being a doctor or a nurse, that wasn't it. But I knew that it was had to do something to do with working with people and being a change agent, being there because a lot of people talk about charity like, oh, I donate my time or I donate my money, but my charity is with love. I actually love working with people. I love people. I look at all my clients like they're superheroes, but they kind of feel like just a meek, regular person. And it's like, no, like you are a giant out here. You are actually a force to be reckoned with. So I love just to unlayer that. And then, they sit one way, but then they're actually able to rise a giant. And it's like, oh my gosh, look at you. Like, this is great. Oh my God, like I was able to help pull that out. Like that's really a beautiful thing. And it's really gratifying. Like, my whole thing is I just don't want for anybody to leave this earth and have an empty experience, including myself. I don't want
Mhm.
to have an empty, boring experience. I want to be able to help be that change agent, to be that transformative power for other people because it's all in my soul, it's all in my being. And I just love to give that to other people so that we can do good work out here. The economy, it needs more fierce Black women out here,
Yes,
and we can
yes.
do it. There's nothing stopping us but us. There's
Right.
just no way that we should be able to not do what we were called to do. I always tell people you see things twice. You see it once in your head and you see it the second time in reality. I want you to see it twice. Period.
Wonderful. I love that. You want them to see it twice. They've already seen it in their head. They already have the dream. You want to help them see it outside of themselves, see it in the world.
Yes.
Beautiful, beautiful. Who was the most influential person in your life, Chantel, growing up?
It's like a tie between my great grandmother. She lived to be 104 years old. So
Ah,
super wise, very intelligent, taught
ah,
herself how to read, just
oh,
was really like a good steward of life. Like she had that discipline. most of us, we fast for a couple of weeks or a couple of days, and she just was fasting for years. And it's like, oh, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. She was able to give us that longevity, and her pep talks, it almost had me feeling like I could do anything in the world.
Okay.
And I just felt empowered just being in her spirit, just being around her, like the whole essence. And every
Wow.
time you would see her, it's like, how you doing? And she's like, I got a pulse, so I'm still in the game, baby. And it's like, she's like, my pulse is proof that the Lord ain't done with me yet. So I'm
Right.
here. And I got that same type of mentality. And
You
it's just been
do.
able to just, keep me revved up. And then, of course, my mom, she wasn't in the military, but we called her the general because she definitely did not play. She gave us the structure that we did need. Like, I had homework at school, and then when I came home, I had homework with my mom. But
uh,
it was really awesome because when I would be in school, it's like, oh, I already learned this from my mom. Like, she already taught this to me. So it really made school very easy. People thought, like, oh my gosh, like, you're so smart. Like, how did you know about this? And it's like, because my mom made me do this like 4 weeks ago. So, with that type of experience, I was only set up to be able to win and to not
yeah.
hold anybody else accountable. Like, I'm not going to blame anybody else. It's nobody else's fault, but it's up to me, and to stay grounded and to have that connection where I do have good influences and I stay rooted in that. A lot of people, they might have a large circle of friends. I have a dot, and I covet them and I love them sincerely and dearly. Like, everybody has got to have that type of support system that's real, that's
Mhm.
solid. It's a lot of people you can't call after midnight.
Right.
They look
Right.
at the phone like, oh, she must be crazy. And
Right.
she's going
Right.
to sleep.
I'll call her back tomorrow.
Right, right. Yeah, but to be able to have those mentors, it's just like, I'm not doing it. It's a cause greater than me. And when you know that you can position yourself to a call that's greater than you, then you have to do it, because you're not just accountable for yourself. You're accountable to your bloodline, to your
Yeah.
community, to your roots.
Yes. Hmm. I love that. I love that. I love the way you describe your great grandmother, the one
Mm-hmm.
that was lived to be 104 years old. I can see her in you. I mean, everything you were saying about her, I'm like, that's what's sitting before me right now. That
Yeah,
energy, that
yeah,
positivity, that tenacity, that gratitude, right?
yeah.
You just always grateful. Your greeting is always a positive, grateful greeting, right? It's never like, oh, I'm okay. It's like, hey, I'm blessed. I'm here. It's like, come on, what's up? It's time to go. What we doing? I love that. I see that spirit in you, and I'm sure that's the spirit you bring to your entrepreneurs, that you are helping build something great, and that's beautiful. So when you look at your business, how do you handle goal setting? Because that can be a challenge for entrepreneurs, not just setting the goals, but really pacing themselves to complete the goals. Because sometimes we can set goals like, this is where I want to be in 5 years. This is where I want to be in 1 year. Okay, but what do you need to do this week to get to that 1 year goal? So what is your goal setting process?
Well, I actually have a goal framework. And so, with the goal framework, the letter G, that stands for galvanize your vision. Like, what is your vision? Your vision, that's your North Star. What is moving you towards that North Star? And I have them just write in one sentence, what is moving you towards that North Star? And that one sentence, that serves as your entrepreneurial manifesto. That is, you're going to be your go to thing. And then we reverse engineer your success, taking it from 5 years and then breaking it down into 12 months, how we're going to engineer your success. And then the O, that's for optimize your influence. Leadership is about impact. So I need you to map out your network. Who are your allies, your decision makers, your mentors, your coaches? And then I want you to be able to have result driven relationships with these individuals, and you can only have that by using your EQ skills, your soft skills. I want you to build with value with all of these people. And then that's for align your actions. I want you to be able to utilize your energy. Like I said, these bodies are weak. We can only do so much during the work week. So
Uh-huh.
make sure that your energy is aligned with every single thing that is in your goal, your desires, and then audit your time. Look at how your time is spent first week and then throughout that month. Look at what you do not need to be spending that time on. Sometimes as women, we're spending too much time at the nail shop. Take that time out. Don't even worry about those nails for a minute because we getting dirty right now. We building something right now. So we can put that on hold for a little bit. And then the L, that's to leverage your legacy. Like I said, we can only do this for so long. But if we put the right people and the right systems in place, it'll keep going and going and
Yes.
going. It'll be able to live past 104 years,
Yeah.
200 years, 300 years. And could you imagine you creating something right now that your entire bloodline will be able to say, hey, we don't need for nothing because grandma was able to do this back in the day. And I always
Right.
tell people when you want to leverage your legacy, what you want to do is three pillars. The first pillar is to get the youth involved. The youth, that is our future. We need to
Mm.
be able to do that junior mentorship. Two is to document your progress.
Mm.
Document everything down. That way it can be some type of archive. Like, oh, wait a minute, we flipped through here. Oh, this is what happened. This is what they did. This is what we can
Right.
be able to do now. And then three is definitely be able to celebrate your success. And that is something that I fall short of on my own.
Mm.
I get a success, I get a victory, and then I keep pushing. And it's like, no, I need to stop and acknowledge that success because that
Yes.
was phenomenal. One of my latest successes was Alignable voted me San Francisco Business Person of the Year 2025. When I first received that, I was in shock because I had voted for other people. I did
Uh-huh.
not think people had voted for me. So I
Uh-huh.
was in shock. And then I had to just roll over to the next meeting and then the next meeting and then the next day. I think that's when it kind of hit me like, oh my gosh, I'm like the business person of the year. Like that's great. But then I started doing something else. And it's like, no, I need
Yes.
to stop and really enjoy that because that's a really big honor. And
Yes.
I'm just like, you know what? It's not, I'm grateful that I'm the business person of the year, but that just goes to the clients and the people that I do serve. That's the service.
Yes.
And
Mm.
I am a very humble person, even though I'm a speaker and I like to be on stage. I don't like to kind of be on stage like that, like where I'm just showcasing everything. But it's like, why not? Because this is something that I earned. It's a great title to have.
Yes, I love that. I love that you shared that. And I agree, it's very important to pause and take in those wins because
Mm-hmm.
it does something to our nervous system to get used to winning, right? When we bypass it, we don't give ourselves a chance to feel it. But
Right.
when you sit in it and you think about it, you're like, yeah, you congratulate yourself. You're giving yourself permission to get used to feeling the win. That way
Yes.
it's not unfamiliar to you. You're not uncomfortable when you start doing great things because you're like, okay, your body's like, okay, I'm used to this. Let's celebrate. Yeah, this is another milestone to celebrate.
Right. And I think that that also goes to me using the goal framework myself. Like everything
Yes.
that I put out there, those are things that of course I integrated myself, and then look what happened. I was able to become 2025 business person of the year. So
Right.
once you are able to implement that goal framework, you're going to be able to get your professional desires met, and it's going to be multiplied times 10 times 20 with that goal framework, and then you are able to leave that legacy behind while you are meeting your goals and you're exceeding them just far and beyond. So
Got
it
it.
really is a powerful tool.
Yes, yes. So what do you do, Chantel, when you need to invest in your rest, invest in your relaxation, invest in your self-care? Take care of your well-being while you're building and you're helping all of us build our businesses. How do you pause and take care of Chantel? Do you have something that you do regularly scheduled? Is it a daily routine you have, or what does that look like for you?
Well, it looks like as soon as I wake up and kind of get myself together, I always go for a walk. I don't care what the weather is like. The weather, it don't scare me. I'm going to get out there and I am going to walk. I like to be one with nature, and I'm not even like a nature girl all the way like that. But by me walking, that is my way to meditate. A lot of people,
Mm.
when they pray, that's when they're talking to God. But when I meditate, that's when He's talking to me. So I am
Ah.
in the spirit of listening. I'm walking. I'm getting myself rooted for the day. I'm kind of like building up like this panic room, like this resilience. Like whatever happens today is going to bounce off of me and I'm going to be great no matter what. So I take a walk, it's about 30 minutes. And then later on during the day, I do kickboxing. I do yoga. I'm on the treadmill. I'm on the bicycle. Like I like to like get that exercise out because every drip of sweat, that's also too dedication that I'm putting into my body. I'm putting it into my soul because like I said, the mind commands the body and you cannot let your body just get to a point where you can't do something.
Mm.
That's a negative. So as I'm sharpening my mind, I'm sharpening up my body at the same time
Mm.
because
Mhm.
everything has got to go hand in hand. And you know, these bodies, they weak. If you move the wrong way, you get a crook in your neck.
Okay.
Sleep the wrong way, you gotta jump up because you got a Charlie horse or somewhere.
Right.
So it's like I need to engineer this body and this mind so everything can become in sync. And it's really a healthy approach. And
Mhm.
when you look at the word healthy, it you know, it's HEALTHY. But if you break it up, it's heal thy.
Mm.
So we got to heal thyself. We got to
Mm.
be accountable for us. And a lot of
Mhm.
people, we not healing ourselves. We let
Mm.
somebody else do the healing. But it's like, no, we got to heal ourselves. We got
Mm.
to get ourselves together. And, you know, drink your water, take your supplements, just do something that is in accordance to you. Because the one thing a lot of people say is, oh, I'm burnt out. Well, you're burnt out because you didn't build an internal furnace. Once you
Mm.
build that internal furnace, you can stay lit forever.
Mm. You better stop. You better stop dropping knowledge on here like that. You bet. Oh, you said you already. I was gonna say, girl, you need to write a book. You already wrote a book. Tell us the name of your book again.
Yes, the name of my book is called Influence Yourself in Leadership and Life.
Come
Yes,
on.
influence yourself. And it really, it's like I wish that I would have read this book when I was first starting out as an entrepreneur. Or I just wish that
Right.
somebody had given me these nuggets because I do
Yes.
talk about what the steps are that you need to take so that you can become an independent warrior because the business battlefield is brutal. People are getting
Mm.
their heads cut off every single day when they enter into this space. You think that life is difficult? Just imagine life on top of being an entrepreneur. Oh,
Right.
oh,
Right.
it just
No
it just
joke.
yeah,
It's
it,
no
it just
joke.
takes the wind out of you. It's almost
Yes.
like if you don't have certain skills put in place, then you're gonna fail. And these skills are skills that they did not teach us in school, because in school they taught us about academic success. Then when we
Yes.
went to work, it was only institutional knowledge about the job itself. But
Yes.
how are we able to win in life and within ourselves? We just don't get that knowledge. So
Yes.
the book is really that type of guide where it's not like a speed read
Uh-huh.
because now you're hacking to me as your coach. So I'm going to ask you to do a couple of homework assignments. I'm going to ask you to really dissect yourself and to be honest with yourself. Some of us have been lying to ourselves for so many years.
Ooh.
It's like we've gotten comfortable of hearing the lies. And then
Yes.
you only hear lies when we ever hear the truth.
Right.
Let's start to hear the truth right now. Like it's
Mm.
okay. Let's be vulnerable, open up that space, and then we can really start to get real. I give some real examples about strength. I give some real examples on how we can enter a space and we can be by ourselves and still win because we're going to be outnumbered. That's just the name of the game. And a lot
Mm,
of people, they're like, oh, I can't do this. I'm outnumbered, or I'm the only one going down this road. That's good. Get comfortable with being the only one to do stuff because those are the trailblazers. They
yeah.
stood alone and they were still able to make history. You can't
Mm,
make history following behind somebody else. That's their history.
right, right. Great points, great points. So I love that you said your book gives us guidance. It shares information you wish you had when you first started on your entrepreneurial journey. That's really the passion behind the podcast because I wanted to be able to talk to Black women entrepreneurs who are doing things like yourself and just hear how what was their journey? How did they figure things out? What are the things that are important to them? And I couldn't find that anywhere. So I created the podcast so that other Black women would have this resource when they're starting out and they're confused, they're feeling lonely, they're feeling like I need some answers. I don't know where to turn to get them. They can tap into this and get some great information. They can tap into this and hear about your book and know that, okay, there's a resource available today that wasn't available a year ago, right? This sister has learned some things about business that she wished she knew when she started. That's going to help me start out stronger. That's going to make my success more likable than it was without this information. So I appreciate you for that. That is wonderful. Thank you.
You're very welcome. And
And
like I said, I'm
where's your
sorry.
book available?
It's available on Amazon right now. Influence Yourself in Leadership and Life.
Wonderful, wonderful,
Yes.
great.
And I also too I have a couple of workbooks. If anybody is interested, they can just send me an email at Shauntel Shauntel at wishingyouwellinlife.org. Let me know where you are in your entrepreneurial journey. And I have three awesome workbooks. The first one is How to Live a Purposeful Life. The second one is Reboot Your Leadership Legacy. And then the third one is called the 26-Hour CEO.
All right. I like all of those. I'm gonna be sending you an email, Chantel.
Okay, well, come on, come on. Thank you. That's what
I
it's all
like,
about. That's what it
yes.
is. Because a lot
Yeah.
of people are just living, but they're living somebody else's life. They're not
Mm,
living their own life. They're living the life that maybe their parents wanted them to live, or the
yeah.
life that society showed them that they should be able to live.
Yes.
But is this really your purpose? Are you really living your calling, your craft, your talent? I had somebody tell me the other day, they were like, well, I really don't have any of those. And it's like, your mission is to find out what your mission is.
Yes.
You're on a mission to find out what your mission is. Every individual has that mission, and nobody here is empty handed. That's it.
Right.
Like when we go to a birthday party, how everybody who's invited, they all bring in a gift.
Yes.
Everybody brings in a gift. Some people bring in little boxes, some people bring in
Yes.
big boxes, somebody people bring in bags. That's
Yeah.
like in life. We all have a gift that we're bringing to the party.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. We're not here without a gift. So if you're
That's it.
here, you came with the gift.
Yeah.
Figure out what it is. Beautiful. So thank you so much, Chantel, for spending this time with us. I really appreciate you coming to share all your knowledge, your skills, your experiences with us to make us better entrepreneurs. So as we close out, I love to ask my guests 5 fun questions so that our audience get to know them personally.
Okay.
The first one for you is if you could have a conversation with anyone from history, who would that be and why?
Oh man, I would love to talk to Martin Luther King Jr.
Oh,
Oh my gosh, that man absolutely amazing. Just like 10 minutes with him, like I need his motivation. I need to hear one of those sermons in real life that boy,
yes,
oh, it just sent forth, just shakes in my body and in my soul. With that type of momentum, I think that I could bring Wishing You Well to a completely different level. Like he was able to get things set up without social media,
oh,
without
imagine that.
email. He was able to hold people accountable, and I need to know how he was able to do some of those things. If I could just hack into his knowledge, I think I'd be phenomenal right now on these streets. Oh my God.
Wonderful, wonderful. And the second question, what is either your favorite place to travel to or your dream place to travel to?
Well, right now, my dream place to travel to would be Paris. I would love to go to Paris and just check everything out and the history and do the sightseeing and do the food. I mean, my name is Shauntel, so I would love to go out there and, like get accordance to the fashion and the hats and everything.
Oh,
So I
yeah.
think that that would be really awesome.
Wonderful, wonderful. What was your favorite childhood game, Chantel?
My favorite childhood game, I like playing hide and go seek because I always had good hiding spots, and it seemed like they was never able to find me. Like I used to have to come out on my own. Like here I am, here I am.
And the last question, who was your favorite teacher and why?
My favorite teacher was my first grade teacher. Her name was Miss Buster, and she really encouraged us to have imagination. She encouraged us just to stay being creative, and from the first grade, that still stuck with me, and it stuck with me even more so important like when I reached my 20s, because when you're 20, you think you're so cool, you have everything
Uh-huh.
figured out, and you're like, oh, I'm too old to imagine, like, oh no, I'm too grown now. And it's like, no, that imagination, that's what keeps us alive. That's what keeps us so that we can become innovators and we are able to do something different. So I always reflect back on my first grade teacher. Like, she was phenomenal. Like, she would give us hugs. Like, she would really just give us that one on one attention. Like, she was amazing.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much. So we appreciate you again for being here. And as we wish all of our guests the very best of joy, health, and wealth.
Thank you so much. I can't believe it's already over.
I know. Wonderful. Today's podcast is being sponsored by Your 90 Day Success Journal for Black Women Entrepreneurs by Lynette Cottrell. The journal is available on Amazon. It's inclusive of monthly goals, weekly and daily goals, affirmations, self-care practices, and inspiring quotes from other Black women. Be sure to get your copy today. Your 90-Day Success Journal. Hey there, beautiful. Thank you so much for tuning in to Women of Color in Business. I hope today's conversation gave you fresh inspiration, insight, and practical tools to move your business forward. If you found value here, please subscribe, leave a review, and rate us 5 stars. And please, please, please share this episode with the fellow Black woman entrepreneur you know. Hey, let's stay connected. Connect with me on YouTube, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And join our mailing list via the links in the show notes. Next week, we'll be diving into more great topics and new guests. So stay tuned. Until next time, I wish you the very best of joy, health, and wealth. Remember, your voice matters and your business deserves to thrive. See you next time.